Hey guys, go back to some more reviews. I'm Horrorboy465, aka Nate Murphy, the Explorer 4 here. Welcome back to some more reviews. And today, guys, getting to the final film in the Halloween franchise. Been reviewing the franchise for about 2 weeks now, and I'm reviewing the last movie in the franchise. It's a franchise that I really enjoy. The first 4 movies. I love the first 4 movies. Although from Halloween 5 on, it did get a little bit bad. I mean, Halloween 5 and 6, I'm not a fan of H2O, and Resurrection is garbage. I'm not a fan of the remake, and I'm not a fan of this movie either that I'm about to review today. But the first 4 movies, I mean, Halloween 1, 2, and 3 are some of my favorite horror movies of all time. Halloween 4 is a sequel that I really enjoy, so I mean, it's still a really good franchise, in my opinion. But towards the later part of the franchise, like from 5 on, that's when it really starts going downhill. But today is the final day of my movie reviews in the Halloween franchise, and today I'm ending the franchise reviews on Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This is the sequel to the remake, and this is the unrated version. I did see the theatrical cut a long time ago, years ago. I was trying to remember if it was about a year or 2 ago, but I think it was like a lot of years ago. Like I think 3 or 4 years ago. It's been years since I've seen the theatrical cut of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But I don't really remember any big differences. I remember the ending being different, which I do remember a little bit of the theatrical ending. Here, it is also a little bit more different. But I can't really remember if there's there might be some also added gore in this version. I really can't remember. But I do remember that the ending is a little bit different. But I only own the unrated director's cut of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And I really don't want to pick up the actual cut. I'm just gonna stick with this version because, in my opinion, this is one of the worst ones. This is about as bad as Resurrection. Now, Halloween 5, I think, is like the best of the bad films. Like Halloween 5, I think it has more stuff to it than this movie. Halloween H2O is a movie that I'm not a fan of, but I do think it has more better things than this movie does. Even the first film, the remake, Rob Zombie's Halloween, I'm not a fan of it, but there was some things in there that I liked. I don't really like a lot of the stuff in this movie. I would even say that even though I'm not a fan of the Rob Zombie remake, I hate this movie much more. This is as bad as Halloween 6, Halloween Resurrection. Just a very bad film. Like I said, in my opinion, just one of the worst ones in the series because this one took a very different direction. Now, I can say that I appreciate that because a lot of films, especially remakes, it's a sequel to the remake, but still, especially the first remake, it copied a lot from the first film. The first Rob Zombie's Halloween copied a lot from the original 1978 Halloween. Here, I can say that it's a very different film than the original Halloween 2. It's different than the original Halloween 2. It's very different than the first Rob Zombie's Halloween. But it's different, but it is so goofy. And I'll get to the goofy part in a second. But like I said, I can appreciate that it went a different direction. Here, I mentioned that I really enjoyed the first remake score. I didn't enjoy this one. It's just maybe like the main theme was decent, but it sounds just like the remake, the first remake's theme. But I'm not really the biggest fan of this movie's soundtrack. Lot of shaky cam in this film. I would say even more than the first Rob Zombie's Halloween. Lot of shaky cam, chase scenes and death scenes. The camera is very shaky. I'm not a fan of Scout Taylor Compton in this film. Not only is her acting bad, but the way that she plays Laurie Strode, it's not good. But I really enjoyed Brad Dourif as Sheriff Brackett, who also played Sheriff Brackett in the first film. Really enjoyed his acting performance in this film. Daniel Harris comes back in this movie, does a good job, and I can say this movie is a much more darker film. It's gritty at times, but I don't know. I mean, watching it, I mean, it's got a stupid concept behind it. Now, what really shocked me is that the beginning of the film I thought was great. Little bit of problems here and there, but as far as atmosphere goes, as far as just the way it's shot, the mood at the beginning of the film. Laurie Strode walking down the street, getting picked up by the Sheriff Brackett character, and basically being picked up and taken to the hospital, and then she's in the hospital. It is kind of a remake of Halloween 2, the original, at the beginning of the film, because it does take place in a hospital. But it was shot well. Michael Myers' costume looked pretty cool, the decayed mask. You also got Tyler Mann come back in this movie to play Michael Myers. Like I said, he does a great job with Michael Myers. And this movie does a good job. It was just the look of Michael Myers in this film later on in the movie is what was really stupid. Now, like I said, what's weird is that even though the beginning of the film, it is a remake of Halloween 2, because it does take place in like the hospital, it ends up being a dream. But I felt like if they would have went with that, for some reason that probably could have worked, because the atmosphere, the mood, the look of Michael Myers, the death scenes at the beginning of the film, a little bit of the build up at the beginning of the film. I felt like if it was the whole movie, if the whole movie would have been just like the original Halloween 2, which is weird because I know it's like, well, then it'd be copying the original Halloween 2, but I found that to work much more than what they came up with, because it had a better mood than the rest of the movie sort of does. It was actually shot decently. It wasn't too shaky. A little bit of shaky came in there, but not like too shaky. It got shaky whenever Laurie got out on the roof, or she escaped outside, and whenever she, hides in that little booth where the security guard was. That's when it started getting a little bit shaky, but just in general, the beginning of the film was done very well. It's shot very well. The build-up was done very well. Laurie Strode waking up in the hospital, finding dead bodies everywhere. I just thought it was done well. When the movie goes downhill is when you find that's all a dream. Because, like I said at the beginning of the movie, Laurie Strode goes to the hospital. You think it takes place right after the first movie, like right after the first movie. Michael Myers is, of course, being taken to the morgue. There are these two characters from this over-the-top dialogue. This dialogue that just, it was unneeded. It was unnecessary. And it really shouldn't have been. I don't know. It was just kind of unnecessary. Where these two characters talking about, like, doing corpses. This one guy's like, well, there was this dude who did this corpse with this lady, and, and then they're telling jokes about it. And then it's silly. It's a really silly idea where they're driving, but yeah, they can't see a cow standing out in the road or something. I don't know. They hit a cow. The cow is just standing right there. They hit it and it just explodes, and practical effects. Another really good thing about this movie is it has some really good practical effects. But I'll get to that in a second. But they hit the cow and it explodes. Michael Myers gets out and kills the guy who survived. And he does this like really over the top thing where he just like, he said he drops the F-bomb like 20 or 25 times in a row, and then Michael Myers comes over and cuts his head off and decapitates him with like a piece of glass. And then we have another silly idea. It might be on the back here. Oh, it's not on the back. Well, Michael Myers, because really at the very beginning of the film, you have a quote by Dr. Loomis, once again played by Malcolm McDowell, talking about white horses. And then you have a little bit of Michael Myers back when he was in the mental institute, played by a different actor. And, he has like a white horse, I think, and his mom, I think, gives him this white horse or something like that. and it's basically his mom is just there, and she gives him the white horse, and then it goes on to, at the beginning of the movie where you think it's after the first movie, like right at the first movie. But Michael Myers, after he decapitates the one guy who was talking about, doing corpses and stuff like that, he literally turns around and sees Sherry Moon Zombie wearing all white next to a white horse. Now, I know in this movie it was meant to be different, but I'm sorry, that is goofy. Michael Myers looking over and seeing a white horse in the middle of the road, and it gets even worse, guys. It gets worse than that, and I'll get to it in a minute. But he walks to the white horse, and then it, of course, shows Laurie Strode waking up. She finds dead bodies in the hospital, runs outside. And that's what I mean. The atmosphere is done well. The rain, the storm, it looks like a really good atmosphere. Michael Myers has like a fire axe, kills a security guard, who's actually the guy from Hatchet, I believe. He was from Hatchet, from a lot of films. But basically kills the security guard, takes like a fire axe. Very intense scene where, he's trying to break into the security booth, and, takes an axe and boom, takes back out, and then boom, comes in, goes like that, comes back down. You think he kills Laurie Strode, then she wakes up. That's when the movie goes downhill. Because from there on, the atmosphere is, I don't know, I mean, it has a decent atmosphere sometimes, but then sometimes it doesn't really have a decent atmosphere. The shaky cam gets really bad. You have Michael Myers with like a freaking homeless man walking around, the huge beard and long hair, and he doesn't hardly wear the mask in the movie. But Laurie Strode, she wakes up, ends up being a dream, and basically she is really struggling with what happened. I don't really remember if it takes place like a year. I think a year or something. I don't know how long it was. I'm not really seeing it, but I think it takes place like a year or something like that later. Something like that. I might even say on the back here. I don't know. But, I don't know. I think like a year or something like that. And Laurie Strode, she looks very different in this movie. She dresses up kind of in a hardcore way. I mean, she wears like rock and roll band t-shirts and does her hair differently and looks completely different. Acts completely different, and at first she struggles with it, and then she comes off as just snotty about it. Then she comes off as being mean to her friends. When she finds out that she's Michael Myers' sister, she cries about it, she freaks out, but then she starts acting really mean to her friends. But even before, I mean, she's living at Annie Brackett and Sheriff Brackett, the Sheriff Brackett character, and his daughter Annie, played by Danielle Harris once again. She's staying at their house. She, works this. Laurie Strode works this store. Has a couple friends there. Michael Myers ends up, being like away for a long time, and he grew a beard out, grew long hair, and he's got this stupid stuff where it's like supernatural, paranormal stuff where Michael Myers is being guided by a younger Michael Myers and Michael Myers' mom. Like, literally, there'll be shots at times where you see Michael Myers walking, or you see Michael Myers standing, and there'll be Sherry Moon Zombie and a younger Michael Myers. And Sherry Moon Zombie's like, go get them, or, go and chase them down or something like that, giving Michael Myers orders. That was just really bad. And there's like a white horse too, and it just looks goofy. Looks really goofy. But Michael Myers ends up finding out about Laurie Strode again, ends up on his way back to Haddonfield. And that's pretty much the basic part of the plot. I'll get to some more of the scenes, but it's basically about that. I mean, Michael Myers is being guided by his mom and younger Michael Myers. And Michael Myers is like a homeless guy with a freaking beard. I would never thought in a Halloween film they gave Michael Myers a freaking beard. I don't freaking get it, man. I don't freaking get it. But ends up going back to Haddonfield, and of course, ends up trying to kill his sister, which Laurie Strode in this movie finds out that she is Michael Myers' sister. Malcolm McDowell in this film as Dr. Loomis, playing a horrible Dr. Loomis. In this movie, he's a complete jerk, a complete dick to everybody around him. He is a douche to everybody around him. And in this movie, he's all about trying to get famous, and he's being real douchey to everybody around him. I mean, just completely. I mean, Malcolm McDowell in this movie did not play a good Dr. Loomis. Now, Donald Pleasance was the best Dr. Loomis. Donald Pleasance played Dr. Loomis to where Dr. Loomis tried to help people. He was very nice. Tried to help Jamie Lloyd. Tried to help Laurie Strode. In this movie, Malcolm McDowell played Dr. Loomis, being, well, I want to be famous, and he's on TV, and people are mocking him on TV, and it's just. And there's even a part in the beginning of the film where he's talking about the darkest. Well, he's talking about like these are the eyes of a serial killer or something like that. Well, not that. I think that's from the first movie. I don't remember. I know he's giving like a speech or something like that. I think he does give that speech in this movie. I think he does, because some person asked, "Well, is Michael Myers still alive? The body was never found." And he goes, "He was D-E-A-D, dead. Is that crystal clear?" And I'm just like, man, horrible acting. I'm sorry. He does really good acting. Malcolm McDowell is a good actor. Clockwork Orange, been in a lot of films. He did a good job. Here, though, his acting is over the top. He's pretty much playing like a douche. I mean, he's being very much like a douche in this movie, being a complete jerk to everybody around him. And then at the very end of the movie, tries to be the good guy. I'm like, no. The whole movie, you're acting like a freaking jerk to everybody. And then, you're gonna do that. You're just gonna freaking try to act nice all of a sudden. No, man, freaking no, it doesn't work. And you also have, a couple other things like the Annie character. She's trying to help the Laurie Strode character, but the Laurie Strode character, she is mean to everybody around her. She is mean to Annie. She's mean to her friends. Well, not her friends, but she starts wanting to go to parties and stuff. And they end up going to a Halloween party in the film. And then Michael Myers goes there and kills a couple people. And then towards the end of the film, Michael Myers gets to where Laurie Strode's at. Of course, Laurie Strode ends up finding Annie bracket dead. And Michael Myers breaks in. She gets out of there. Michael Myers chases her. She goes into a car. Michael Myers literally tips the freaking car over. And then drags her out, takes her back to this like abandoned house in the middle of a field. Freaking Laurie Strode. Also, she's having these freaking weird dreams where she'll be in a coffin, just laying there, and then she'll start freaking out. There's a dream where there's a skeleton with like a Michael Myers mask on. There's like these pumpkin creatures all around the table. She's having these really weird dreams that they should be in a Halloween film. Just really bad, just goofy looking dream sequences. And then at the end of the film, Laurie Strode, for some reason, starts seeing Michael Myers' mom. Starts seeing her mom. Starts seeing Michael Myers as a kid, and Dr. Loomis comes in, tries to help, and he gets in there, and she's like, "Well, I can't move. He's holding me down." When there's nobody holding her down, he's like, "There's nobody holding me down." And Michael Myers, I can't believe this happens either. I really can't. I don't know what the freak Rob Zombie was thinking in this movie, but literally, Dr. Loomis is trying to help, goes in there at the last second. Michael Myers tackles him he grabs him, takes his mask off, tackles him outside the house, grabs him up, Michael Myers takes his mask off, and just goes, "Die!" And then he stabs Malcolm McDowell. Michael Myers literally takes off his mask and goes, "Die!" Literally. He gets out of the sort of abandoned house, takes off the mask, and like talks and says die, and then it gets shot a bunch of times. Then Laurie Strode gets the mask, puts it on, goes out, gets shot. Then you get a shot at the end of the movie where Laurie Strode looks up, and that's playing like a slower version of the Love Hurts song, and then the movie ends. It's just bad. I can't believe it. He literally, Michael Myers freaking shouts in this movie. Freaking talks. Takes off his mask, and then just goes, die! I know that it's trying to be a different film. I understand that. But, Rob Zombie, what the freak were you freaking thinking of making Michael Myers look like a homeless guy, making it to where he barely wears the mask, making it to where pretty much at the end of the film takes off his mask and goes, die! You make him talk, make him just go out and take off the mask and go, die! Just, I don't get it, man. I really don't freaking get it, man. Freaking Rob Zombie, man. I don't understand. Sorry about that, guys. My camera had turned off right when I threw the movie as well. But like I was saying, I cannot believe that Rob Zombie would do that. But I'll add this back into there. But my camera had turned off by accident. Apologize about that little awkward cut there. But like I was saying, I just can't believe that Rob Zombie would make Michael Myers look like a homeless man. Would make Michael Myers just yank the mask off and go, die! At the end of the film. And plus, it's not, I guess Rob Zombie does try to take a realistic approach to the films, but Michael Myers gets shot right in the head at the end of the first movie. I don't know how he survived it, but somehow he survived it. But the movie, like I said, it does have some good things. Some. Very few. Mainly, honestly, the death scenes and the makeup effects. You know, because you got some really, in this movie, you got some really crazy kills. Now, I will say that this movie has some great practical effects, and it also has some pretty good kills. You know, a guy gets freaking his face stomped in. There's a strip club area where, you know, this girl gets thrown against the freaking glass, and this guy gets his arm broken, and then he gets like killed. You got the scene where these two people they're having sex in this van, and Michael Myers, this guy gets out of the van, Michael Myers stabs him, breaks into the van, grabs the girl, strangles the girl inside the van, takes another one of Laurie Strode's friends and stabs her multiple times. Annie Brackett also gets killed in the film. I don't know, I guess Dr. Loomis, he gets killed as well. I think he gets killed. He gets stabbed by Michael Myers. At the beginning of the film, the security guard gets like a freaking fire axe right to the back. I mean, it's really good, really gory death scenes. But still, that is probably the only good thing about the film. The rest of the movie, you got some bad acting. I'm not a fan of the acting performances and the cast. I'm not a fan of the different approach to. I mean, it is different, but I'm just not a fan of it. It's a silly idea. It's kind of a goofy idea. You know, this whole supernatural, paranormal like where Michael Myers is seeing his mom and White Horse, and seeing himself as a kid. It's just a very bad movie. I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 at all. It's a bad film, and just not a fan of it. But anyways, guys, I know that was a little bit of an awkward cut when my camera had turned off, and I decided to just add this in there because, I mean, I'm not really a big fan of this movie, and I didn't want to start the whole review back over again, so I decided to just add this little part in there real fast. Hopefully, it doesn't, you know, make it upload for like, you know, hours, because sometimes if I add stuff into the reviews, it takes a little longer to upload. But you know, I just didn't want to shoot the entire review again. Because I was almost done doing the review, so I figured I'd just add this in there. But I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the acting. I'm not a fan of the characters in this film. I'm not a fan of you know, just the idea in general. This the film in general is just bad. I mean, the idea itself of Michael Myers being a homeless guy, look like a homeless guy, seeing his mom and seeing white and seeing like a white horse, and Laurie Strode having these random dreams, these random nightmares. And then Laurie Strode at the end of the film seeing Michael Myers as a kid and seeing her mom and seeing the white horse and everything. It's just a stupid story. It was a stupid story, a stupid concept. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I can say, what more else I can say. I mean, I'm just not a fan of the film. But anyways, guys, that's my final review in the Halloween franchise. Like I said, it's a franchise I still really enjoy because the first 4 films are films that I love. The first 3 are like some of my favorite horror films of all time. Even Halloween 4 is a great horror film. I think it's a really good sequel. Even though it started getting kind of bad towards later on in the franchise, but you know, I think overall it's a good franchise, and I had fun reviewing the franchise. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching my reviews on the Halloween franchise. And hope you guys have a good Halloween. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next review. Thanks, guys, for watching my reviews on the Halloween franchise, and see you guys later. Bye, guys.